really don't know if I want to do this. Oh god. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And hi if you're new, my name is Carolyn. I'm 20 years old and this is probably one of my biggest secrets that only the people closest to me know about. And that is that I never graduated high school. I didn't even go to high school, actually. I dropped out in middle school. I was doing homeschooling for a little bit. I was so young that I wasn't really keeping myself accountable for the things that I was doing. I basically just quit being like 14, 15 years old. I just quit school. I figured maybe eventually I'd pick it back up or something, but I didn't think I would be 20 years old going back to high school. So we'll get into that in just a second. I struggled in school a lot only because I do have a problem with learning. I'm a lot slower than most people when I am trying to learn things. I'm also a very slow reader. It does have an effect on how I respond to learning new things and how I respond to things in general. So when I was in elementary school, they had me in special learning classes because I am dyslexic. It doesn't happen very often anymore where my dyslexia will kick in and, you know, just jumble things together. And this isn't no like Bella Thorne fake dyslexia commercial that we saw on Disney Channel. No, this is actually like a problem that I genuinely have. No offense to Bella Thorne. Going through school was very difficult because with being in those special classes that I needed in elementary school, I did get made fun of. But it's not like I went in them alone. There were like 2 other kids in my class that were with me that also were in the classes with me. Once I got to middle school, I didn't need the special classes anymore. I had mostly gotten over my dyslexia. Every once in a while it would kick in, but I did notice that I couldn't focus very well because, and I have 20/20 vision, so like I can see far away, I can see close to me, like there's nothing wrong with my eyes, but for some reason like the words on the board were just jumbled together and like I couldn't concentrate on what was being said. I feel like most of my teachers kind of had like a grudge toward, not like a grudge, but like some of my teachers didn't like me because I would ask for help so often, and that's only because I needed the help. And I feel like they got very annoyed with me. In elementary school, I was also what they call like Pee-wee cheerleading. I was in the little Pee-wee cheerleading squad, whatever, and it would go by grade. But once I hit middle school, which is the 6th grade for that school that I was in, you're not allowed to do the actual middle school cheerleading, which I think is absolutely stupid, and I really hope that they either have or will change that rule, because when you go into high school as a freshman, you have the choice to try out for high school cheerleading because you are considered a high schooler. But for some reason in that school, 6th graders cannot try out for the cheerleading team. Thought that was completely stupid. My 6th grade year, I really had to get it together because if you had failing grades, you could not try out for the cheerleading team, and half of the time if you failed your classes, you would get either suspended from a few games to where you couldn't cheer, or you would eventually get kicked off of the cheerleading team. Once I realized that, once cheerleading tryouts came around, I realized I really had to get like my shit together. I was failing math, I was failing history, I was barely passing science, like it was bad. Luckily some of my teachers were able to help me, and I was like, okay, what can I do? Like, tell me what I can do to fix my grade. Give me extra credit, give me papers that I can fix. Like, I need to get my grades up. And the only person, there were 2 people, 2 of my teachers that were like, okay, we'll help you. Actually 3. Was my English teacher, who really helped me. She helped me a lot and was probably one of my favorite teachers in the entire school because she was so sweet. And then there was my math teacher, who she was scary to me sometimes, but I was like, honestly, I really need help. Like, what can I do to fix my grade? and she gave me extra credit, and she gave me papers that I could fix that would ultimately, if I fixed them, would affect my grade better. Every morning, because they have this thing, I don't remember what they called it, it's been so freaking long, to where there's a time period where everyone either sits in the cafeteria and eats breakfast, or you can sit in the gym and wait to go to class. But during that time period, it's like from whatever time you get there till either 7:50, 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 8:30, depending on which school, because it was different for each school I went to. You could go to whatever classrooms you were failing, and you could go work on your paper, or if you were behind on your homework, you could go to that class and work on your homework. If you had a project that you needed done, you could go to that class and work on your project, or whatever the case was that you needed to get work done for that day, you could go to that classroom in that amount of time period and get stuff done. Every day for, I would say, at least 2 weeks, I was in my math class working on my extra credit and taking papers that I had failed and turning them into non-failing grades. For English, it only took me a few days because I wasn't insanely failing that class, but I was a little bit behind, and also the reason I was also failing is because there were papers I hadn't turned in that were due, and I didn't know that I didn't turn them in. Science teacher was kind of an asshole. He was sweet sometimes, but he had a classroom full of nothing but females at like near the end of the day. I don't blame him, and when you're dealing with a bunch of preteen girls, I can only imagine how that would be for a 25-year-old man. He was also a coach, so that didn't help. Maybe late 20s, 30s, I don't know. I don't really remember how old he was. You can imagine how that would go. I ended up fixing all of my grades, and at the end of the year, I did go to my cheerleading tryouts. Tried out for the team. I got it. So this is going into 7th grade year. Going into 7th grade year, it's summertime, you have cheerleading camp, you have cheerleading practice. We had a cheerleading lock-in where all of the girls will go into the gym. You'll basically practice cheers, do stunts, have like a whole sleepover in the gym all together. I went to that, and that was the last thing that I ever did with the cheerleading team because we ended up moving. I know half of the people from the school that I went to don't even know that. Or maybe they do, I don't know. But yeah, I made the team and I was on it, and I was at the lock-in, and that is where my cheerleading coach ended up announcing to all the girls that I wouldn't be cheering with them and that this would be the last time that I would be considered part of the squad, which sucked. I was still able to get my cheerleading shoes, which I still do have, because my coach was like, you know, I didn't have my uniform, so she was like, the least I can do is just at least give you your shoes. So I got my shoes and I got my backpack, which I still have. Very sad day, and I did cry. That happened, and then we moved because my mom got a job out here where we currently live, and we moved to a different town that's literally like an hour to 45 minutes away from here. We didn't even live out here while she was working here. That's when things kind of went downhill for me because I grew up in that school for 5 years. That's the longest place we had ever been. It was very hard. Granted, I was glad to leave only because I was still being bullied. There were people at that school that literally hated my guts, and I know that if I was still there, I wouldn't be the same person that I am right now. So I'm glad that we left when we did. Even though for a while I was very mad at my mom because I had made the cheerleading team and then she made me leave. But now that I'm an adult and I understand things a little bit better, I thank her because now I have Colton. I'm getting married and life is good. So then we started going to school at the schools where we were. We're going to school there, and those schools, big no. It's not just because I had to wear a school uniform, even though I hated it. It was the schools were huge. They gave me so much anxiety, and nobody in that school liked me. I decided to leave and go to the school here, which means I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get all of my stuff together, the clothes that I was wearing for school, my makeup, my backpack, everything that I needed, and get out of the door by 3:30 in the morning with my mom, because she had to be at work by 5:30, and it's an hour to a 45-minute drive. We were driving here. I'd sleep in the car for a couple of hours because I had to be up at the school by like 7:20. I would sleep in the car, then I would get up, I'd get ready in her office, and then she would take me to school. Everything's fine and dandy. The school here I did like, but it is way too advanced for me. And the reason I say that is because it is a college-based school. So they're a collegiate school. I got there and I had no freaking idea what was going on in any of the classes. I was just like, and I had not missed school. I did not miss school at all. I mean, yeah, I had decided like, yeah, Mom, I'm not going to this school anymore. Can you transfer me to this one? And the second I said it, she transferred me. So like, it's not like I missed any days of school. Well, I went to the other school, this one. When I tell you, I have never felt so stupid in my life. I felt so dumb compared to everyone else because I had no idea. Like, they were doing, I was in the 7th grade doing almost college, like, it's like the middle school was doing high school, and it was so difficult. And I know that like Colton graduated from there so like, he's smart. Like, I was literally talking to him about classes last night, and he's like, I was like, I'm really worried about like algebra because I'm not good with math. And he's like, okay. And then he just starts explaining all this stuff to me. And I'm like, okay, when you say it, it makes sense. But like, when I was in school learning this stuff, it made absolutely no sense to me. But the way you're describing it to me, it makes sense. But like, I felt so dumb. It got to the point where I wasn't enjoying school. I was starting to fail already. I had been there like 2 weeks. Some of the girls didn't like me. Most of the girls didn't like me. I didn't really have any friends. I mean, I had 3 or 4 friends, which was fine. I was okay with that. I feel like they were kind of confused when I stopped showing up to school. I'm still kind of friends with some of them now. I think some of them don't like me anymore, but that's fine. Each their own. I get it. I'm not everyone's vibe. And that's one of the last times I was ever in public school again. I did go back to my old school because there was a family matter that happened, and I was separated and went back to the school that I basically grew up in. I went back for a day. A single day. And then I left. And then I went to a school that I grew up in, or in the city that I grew up in, for 2 days. But then they told me I needed my shots. So I went to the doctor and I got my shots. I didn't even leave the hospital building or the clinic building, and I was on the floor in the bathroom, so like heat flashes and vomiting because of the shots that they gave me. I literally, so I had an undershirt on and I had a shirt on top of it. I took my shirt off. I was sweating balls. So then I go back to, we were living with my great-grandfather at the time, who is not alive anymore. He passed away a year ago. We were living with him at the time, and we got back to his house. That's my dogs. I'm sorry, you're probably gonna hear that a lot throughout this video. We got back to his house and he's like, what's wrong with her? And I was just so sick. I did not go back to school because I was so sick. So we just tried to put me on homeschooling, and it didn't last. That's that. But now, here I am, 20 years old, and I am a freshman in high school. Never thought I'd say that. I am a freshman in high school. Is it weird? 100%. Am I excited? Yes. But I'm working on getting my high school diploma. The whole point is the fact that I'm at least trying. I already have a vlog that I've filmed of me doing my first day, basically. Even though I haven't done any courses, it's literally just introduction to high school. Part 1 and part 2. I'm starting part 2 today. So I just wanted to update you guys and let you know I am a high school student at 20 years old. But yeah, I'm working for my high school diploma so that way I can go to college and be able to get a good stable job for my family and I. I'm getting married this year and eventually I'm gonna have kids. I want to be able to have a sustainable job and money to make sure that we're taken care of and everything's okay. That is literally all I wanted to say. I am doing all of my classes online on my computer. That's it. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry if I rambled at all, but I just wanted to update you guys so that way you wouldn't be confused. I wanted to give kind of a backstory of why and how I am where I am today. I just decided to take control of something that I have been ashamed of for years. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.